Hey y'all.
Hey.
How you doing?
Welcome to the NDA podcast where we do it all. This podcast is with the Black Student Union and this is our second podcast. I am your host Keisha Robinson, aka Membership Coordinator of the Black Student Union. I'm a junior and today's topic is mental health. So the purpose of this podcast is to get members more engaged and for them to have a safe space to express and voice their own opinions, ideas, and beliefs. I have three special guests with us here today. If you can introduce yourself with your name, year, and major.
How you doing? My name is Kevin Coyote Abashunli Jr. I'm a junior and an animation major.
Hello, my name is Kaylee Fraser Sales. I'm a junior and also I major in photography.
I'm a Maurier Selby. I'm a forensic psychologist major, and I'm a sophomore.
Perfect. And my major, by the way, is criminal justice. So the purpose of this podcast is to help determine how we handle stress, relate to others, and make healthy choices. You are not alone. Join us as we explore the strategies for navigating stress. And the first question I would like to ask you guys today is, how are you doing for real? We could start with you, Kevin.
So I'm a little sluggish.
Okay, how about you, Kayori?
I'm just so ready for senior year and just for it to be over it. But, just staying positive and keeping pushing and I'll make it.
I felt that. How about you, Maria?
I'm a little tired, a little stressed, but, I'm hanging in there.
Okay. The next question I would like to ask you guys is, what does mental health mean to you? And we could start with you, Amorie.
Mental health to me is basically like making sure that you're okay, making sure that you put yourself up as a priority, and just making sure that you're balanced. Because sometimes life in general just swipe you right off your feet, and you never know how to respond to it, how to react to it. So it's just always trying to basically make sure you put that as your main priority, because your mental health is basically your center.
I definitely agree with that. How about you, Kaori?
For me, mental health is a very big thing, very important. I feel like it's something that I usually keep to myself, but at the same time, I'm really open-minded about it because, you never know where someone else is at and how they level with you and all that stuff. So, yeah, it's a very important role, honestly, with everyday life.
Okay. And last, Kevin.
Mental health is basically, to me, mental stability. So thinking that to yourself, how would you react to certain situations? If life hits you, how would you calm yourself or put yourself at ease? That's basically what mental health thing means to me.
Okay. And then for the next question, what habits do you have to take care of your mental health? So what are some things that you do when you are in a stressful situation or having a bad day or just overthinking? What's something that comforts you? We could start with you, Kaori.
For me, meditating, talking to God, and also music is really a big thing in my life.
All right, Kevin.
For me, I deal with mental, I say how I deal with stress is basically, since I'm an animation student, I love to draw ever since I was 6. So if I go outside drawing what I see, I just put my mind at ease and I'm straight.
Okay, and then Maurier.
I usually turn what I think my bad days, or what I basically say my worst, into something positive, like something creative. I usually try to cook, learn new things, or just try to stay to myself, because I know sometimes when you have a bad day, that energy can rub off on you, and it's not intentional or to just give off that energy, but that's the aura that you show. So I try to not to bring that aura or that vibe to other people, to bring them down. So I usually just kind of stay to myself so I can get myself back together to be back to the person I was before.
I really like that. Next question is, do you think that there is a mental health system set up for success here? For example, resources. Do you think it's easy to obtain resources when it comes to therapy, etc.? We could start with you, Kevin.
Me personally, I don't believe in therapy, mostly because it never worked for me. So I believe that everybody's different, how they handle things. If you feel like you want to talk to somebody, you can literally talk to somebody close. or anybody that you feel comfortable with. But yeah, if therapy is like the way you think you want to go, that's totally fine. I mean, having somebody there with you, talking to somebody, have a little dark side expressed, that's definitely fun, and I feel like that's something that everybody should have. But me personally, I don't really believe in therapy.
Okay. What about you, Kaori?
For me, I had bad experiences with therapy, so honestly, I just journal. But again, like what Kevin said, I feel like if you feel like therapy works for you, go for it. I mean, I am open-minded to trying it out again. Like, just because I had one bad experience doesn't mean all of them are going to be bad. Recently, I just try to take all my problems up to God.
And what about you?
It's resources here, but at the same time, everybody is not comfortable with those same resources. Like with me, it was kind of hard having a therapist and being a psych major because I know the questions that you're asking me. I understand them. Like, I can lie about them. So it's just like, I can tell you I'm fine, but deep inside, I'm really at my lowest. Like, I'm at my lowest. I feel like we should have like open ideas from other people because sometimes you don't want to pick up the phone and talk to somebody professionally because the first thing they do, that's all it is being professional. So you can say like, you probably have a dark humor, so that's how you express it, but then they take it another way and then now you're in a white coat. So it's like I feel like, it should be different options for people to cope with certain things.
Okay. And when you guys do mention the communicating with someone close to you, my next question following up on that is, how do you learn how to trust someone and know that they are going to be protected of you and your feelings? And we can start with you, Amorie.
I would say, you never know somebody's intentions, so it's definitely hard to try to trust somebody with those thoughts and those feelings because you may be really at your lowest and somebody really might just take what you say and throw it back at you. But it's always a trial and error type thing. So you always got to, stay on your P's and Q's to see who's there, see who makes sure you okay, who always, asks you this and that. Because now you have that availability, like you have that little open window to show like, they do care how I'm doing. They understand. They see that something's off of me. Maybe I can finally, open up and tell them. And then you just go from there and see what happens. I feel like as long as you get that off your system and out your chest, as long as you got it out there, obviously it don't matter who or what, at least somebody's going to hear it and understand it.
Okay, I love that. What about you, Kevin? Would you like me to repeat the question?
If you can.
Okay. How do you learn how to trust someone and know that they are going to be protected of you and your feelings?
Trust is not gained, it's earned. So to trust somebody, that's basically putting like your whole like personal feelings to somebody. I mean, not right now, some people don't even trust their own fam or even their own parents. So trusting a random out in the open, that's taking 100% courage. I say, if you really look at a person and you see bro character is solid, that means he's trustworthy. But like what she said about the journal, I mean, it doesn't even have to be like a person for real. Like a journal is also can be your little guide or your little person for yourself. So you can, trust that journal to be always keeping that little secret lock. But yeah, trust is always gained, not earned.
I definitely agree with that. And Kaori, would you like me to repeat the question?
Yeah.
Okay. How do you learn how to trust someone and know that they are going to be protected of you and your feelings?
I honestly just like to observe people. So if I'm reading you and I see how you move and I don't like the energy, then I know what to stay away from. If your intentions are like pure, I'm definitely going to feel and know that. Of course it can be hard, but I put it like this, like if your intentions aren't good, then you're just not meant to be in my life. There's no need to like even try to force anything. And again, trust is really like such a big thing. Like if I'm able to talk to you and I'm not hearing it from another person that wasn't in the room, then trust is really a big thing. And as far as like for family members, for me personally, like it's I'm not able to talk to family. Maybe like my brother, he's like my
Mhm.
best friend. So like being able to have that is just like amazing, and I'm grateful for. Um, so yeah.
Okay. And for the next question, what are some things or attributes that prevent you from being unable to communicate to someone? We could start with you, Kevin.
I mostly believe in actions than words. Say, if I tell you this, what are you gonna be affecting my life for? If I tell you this, oh, I'm feeling a sad day, will you make my day better? What you about to do to make my day for happy? So me not relying on somebody is very difficult because I see what's the benefit of you of me telling you this. It's like a business transaction with me.
Mm-hmm.
But it's not like I don't got nobody to trust. I mean, I got my old art teacher back in Ghana. I got my old boarding house master and my other art teachers. Those people I trust, and I'm free with them. I still keep in contact with them every single day. But it's mostly that kind of little tick of mind that you need to stop having.
Mm-hmm. All right. What about you, Amorie?
I'm really big on when it comes to portrayal. Like I don't like being. I'm not a person that like to sugarcoat stuff. So if I need you, especially when I don't, cause me personally, I don't ask for help. I always try to figure stuff on my own because I'm independent. So that's really my biggest thing. So when people do offer to help, I do kind of push them away because like I'm very independent. I always did things on my own. I always figured something out on my own. So it's like I know how to know myself enough to know that I need to just be by myself. Or sometimes I try to force myself to be someone that I'm not. So it's like I know I'm independent, so I'm not going to keep asking for help. So especially because if I do ask for help and I feel like you're not hearing me, and then I just step back and like, you know what, that's my cue to just not ask for help. Like I just got to stay to myself and figure it out my own. So it might take me a while. It might take a couple obstacles. You know, it might be a while for me to get to where I need to be, but I know I got myself there.
All right. I'm gonna repeat the question for you, Kaori. What prevents you from being unable to communicate?
I guess it's just like that fear of judgment. Like here I am being vulnerable with a person, but if I feel like I'm being judged, then usually I just shut down. And also like the whole thing, like I know myself better than anyone, so like talking to someone is my willful choice. Most of the time, if I know that I can just figure it out on my own, then I'll just let myself do that, even if that means like isolating to protect the other person. Then I'll just do that as well. I honestly feel like usually that's like the best way to go, and that could be just me putting others first before myself because I'm just used to doing that. So usually I think of others before I think of myself, but mostly anytime I do decide to talk to someone, the number one thing is just judgment. Like, are you judging me or anything?
Okay, you'll have some amazing answers. So the last question I would like to ask you guys today is, when have you grown the most in life and what caused that growth? We could start with you, Kevin.
It was when I transferred from Montclair State to Point Park, because when I was in Montclair State, I was meant to be an animation major, but they transferred me to the visual art degree, and they told me I'd have a set of credits, set of GPA to get to that level to be an animation major so I can reapply. So I did not falter. I had such good grades. I got a 3.9 GPA in my grades, and I kept on applying. I tried building on my portfolio. I got better at perspective, but I did a little animation, even like little gifts, them little toys. But I still did not get accepted. So I was like, hell, F that. I'm not trying to stay in a major that I'm not trying to do the rest of my life with none. So I said F Montclair, and I went to Point Park. Simple.
Okay. What about you, Kaori?
Almost like the same situation. I originally went to La Roche University, and there wasn't enough diversity there. I just felt so alone and just like only knew one person, and I also just felt alienated and just like, ugh. But back then I was a film student, and I had one photography class. And in that situation, I realized, like, oh snap, I only like one class out of all my film classes, which was photography. So that's when I had decided to make the transfer, and it was like a pretty big step. That I had some help along the way, like of some teachers, luckily. But in terms of like parents or anything, like nah. So just making that big move, like of course I had my associates and my parents, like I had their support, but it was definitely a scary ride, especially, back in high school. They weren't really as much help with the transition from high school to college. They were just shoving stuff down our throats and in our face. Honestly, yeah, making the transfer here, I feel like I had the most growth and explore so much on my own and also about myself, and I am continuing to do so. Yeah, I'm actually really happy here.
Okay, I love that. I'm gonna repeat the question to you, Morier. When have you grown the most in your life, and what caused that growth?
I would say what really was a lot of growth was mainly like coming back to Point Park and really my mental health. I'm not at my lowest like how I used to be, especially like from middle school all the way to high school. Especially because I've been through a lot, especially with high school. I lost somebody to mental health. I do what I gotta do, you know, for him. Like, I do it for him. I do it for Tavon. So it's like, when I'm at my lowest, I look at my tattoo and be like, you know what? I'm not gonna do that no more. I'm not going, self-harm no more. I'm not gonna do that. So I actually grew a lot from it. My communication skills or how I feel about things, I'm opening about it now. So I feel like I'm not shutting myself down to put myself before other people no more. I'm still working on it, but I'm working on expressing myself instead of keeping everything to myself. I was always felt like if I express myself a certain way, somebody's going to judge me. Somebody's always have a say-so about how I express myself. So I will always put myself on mute and let others just say whatever. Like, it is what it is. So now I express myself more. I tell how I feel. Even with family, like I would be scared to tell people how I feel, even my mom. So I can open up more and tell people to, this is why I feel the way I do. This is why I'm act the way I do. So now I'm able to just tell my story, to be honest.
Okay. Wow, that was very deep, y'all. All right. Thank you guys for listening. Again, this is the NDA podcast. Your host, Keisha Robinson. If you guys can follow us on our Instagram at nda.podcast_. And yeah, hope to see you guys soon. Thank you for watching.